In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up your own online business whilst you're working a full-time job. In fact, I'm going to show you a very extreme circumstance, a brother who's working 12 hours a day, how you can be working 12 hours a day but still set up your online course or coaching or agency or community and then scale that to 7 figures. In case you're wondering who I am, my name is Imran ibn Mansur. I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur. I teach brothers how to scale their communities, their courses, their agencies and their coaching services to 7 figures the way we done it for ours. 3 times 7 figures, $3 million plus, alhamdulillah, with Allah's permission. I'm also an Islamic student of knowledge and I give da'wah. And with that said, let's get into today's episode. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. So, I got this comment from a brother. He said he's been working a 12-hour shift every single day, okay? And he has some skills that he thinks he can turn into a business where he can make a course or some type of a coaching service out of it, because this skill is something that people pay him for. But he's just working for 12 hours every single day, and that's killing him. So I have a few advices to give to this particular brother and anyone else who's in a very similar situation who is currently working, right? And they've got other responsibilities in life and they feel like, you know what, I just can't find the time to work on my business. So I have a few things. Look, first things first, time is something that Allah Azza wa Jalla can put barakah in. Allah Azza wa Jalla can put blessing in that time. And blessing, it is to have more of something, even if it's very little. Or to be able to get more out of something, even if it's little. So in other words, if I've got an hour and I've got blessing in my hour, I can do with that hour what a man can't do with 10 hours. And we've seen blessing. And the Prophet ﷺ, he made dua for this ummah to have barakah, for it to have blessing in its early hours. There was a sahabi who used to go out and work just in the early hours, and he became very, very rich just because he used to earn rizq in the early hours. So, getting up early, and it's something that I implemented in my life because I realized there were so many things around me, so many distractions, so many responsibilities. I said, you know what, I've got no choice but to just get up early. And I used to get up early and do my seeking knowledge, and I used to get up early and do my hifz of Quran. I used to get up early and do my business work, and I'd be done with most of the stuff by the time everyone wakes up. And, not just wake up, by the time they get up and they actually get active, it's like, at 10, 11, 12. I've got most of the stuff done. So I can get my deep work done early, and then my shallow work, which is the work that, doesn't really require much mental energy. I could just get it done while I'm doing other tasks. I can get that done later on. But the deep work, which requires mental focus, energy, where I'm using my mind to build something, to learn something, to study, to develop, that requires that time, which is really beneficial in the morning. Now, based on whatever your work schedule is, try the morning if you can't. No worries, but remember, you do have another 12 hours in a day, right? 12 hours is a lot to play with. 12 hours is a lot to play with. And, sleep 6 hours, okay? You're going to be eating during your work hours. Maybe you can eat on a break on the way home. Food takes a lot of time. Maybe do some intermittent fasting, right? Where you only eat within a couple of hours window every single day. Make it during your work hours, so the other 12 hours you're not eating. And that takes away a lot of time as well. And even if you're only putting an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours every single day towards your hustle, even if you do 2 hours one day and not the next day you don't, you handle your responsibilities, and the next day after work you do 2 hours on your hustle, and the day after you handle your responsibilities, you can find a pattern, a cadence that works for you. It doesn't have to be every single day, even if it's just maybe twice a week, just on the weekends, right? That you work on your hustle, you work on your new business that you're trying to build. And this is exactly the same for anyone who wants to seek knowledge. Look, the second thing I want to say here is that why are you working at this 12-hour job, right? Chances are you could probably find a job that pays you ever so slightly more for less hours. Now, let's just say that this 12-hour job, you're making from it like £2,000 a month, and that's what you absolutely need. Okay, cool. If that's the case, right? And you can't cut costs anywhere else. But if that's the case, I'm sure you can find a job that's 8 hours a day that's paying you the exact same amount. Sometimes we make ourselves trapped unnecessarily. Just, bro, do a little bit of a Google search. Like, there are some jobs that pay a lot more, like TfL. TfL is a company, Transport for London, which is a company in London. For like basic jobs, they pay really good money. And I know it's not the easiest to get into, but that's just one example because I know off the top of my head. But just do some research. Like there are certain jobs that you'd be surprised, so basic, doesn't require qualifications, but they'll pay you like £2, £3, £5, £6, sometimes £10, £15 an hour more than what you're already doing for a lot less hours. So then make a job change and do the research. right? Do the research and work it out. I also want to mention the third thing, which is that it can be done, right? It can be done. The brother who's holding the camera right now does 12 hours a day. Right? The brother who's actually holding the camera right now, brother Sufyan, but he does 12 hours a day. He works full time, right, for a car rental company here in Dubai. Then after that, he works for us, and I would say it's not full time, but it's also not part time. It's more than part time, to the point where you see this sofa, he sleeps here. He sleeps here. Like this is he goes to work. After work, he goes to another job, and then he comes here. And right now it's 1 a.m. in the morning, right? And the brother was with me this morning, right? He left 8 a.m. in the morning to go to his first job. He'll go run a second job. Then after that, come to me. It's 1 a.m. in the morning. We're recording content right now, because he understands that he's in a situation where he needs to make the most of these circumstances to be able to set up his own hustle. Right, he's working because he wants to get the results for his clients, so we can use that as proof to be able to build his own thing and to get the training and the skills and the experience in right now in as fast a time as possible, so that he can build something else for himself and his family, so that he can have that degree of independence. And he's doing it. He's doing more than 12 hours. Fit, do more than 12 hours a day, right? Sarahatan, do more than 12 hours a day, right? And Allah barik, may Allah reward his wife. He's been supportive because she's understand that my husband has to go out there and hustle and grind, and he's doing it for the family, right? For Allah's sake. And again, this requires a supportive family. If you don't have a supportive family, that's another issue, right? But the point is that it can be done. It can be done. It actually can be done. The last thing I'm going to say to you, and I'm going to be a bit cautious when I say this, is quit. I went one step further. I actually never got a job, because I knew that when you get a job, it's something that numbs you. It numbs you. And you become reliant after Allah on the job. Right, your reliance is upon Allah, but you get used to the job and that job security, and you feel scared to kind of cut the cord. But for me, I like to go in, and I'm a person, I don't like to do things half-hearted, and I like to throw myself in the deep end, because many people don't know, when you throw a human into water, into the deep end, he won't drown, he will float. I remember when I went free diving. That body floats naturally the way Allah created us. So if you cut the cord, you rely upon Allah and you put the work in, and you'll be fine, inshallah. It'll be hard work, and it'll be scary. Oh, no doubt. And Allah may test your reliance on Him, and you may not get what you need until the final moment. You might just get by, and suddenly, before things take off. But the thing is, you will float, inshallah. But it's when you panic. If you cut the cord and you panic, that's when you're going to drown. And I just have that mindset of, bro, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all in, I'm going to do it 100%, I'm not going to do it half-hearted. I even got annoyed at, I got annoyed at one of the brothers that's on my team the other day. I asked him a question, I said, bro, come meet me, I want to go over the webinar, the 7 Steps to 7 Figures webinar that we just did on Sunday. I said, I want to go over it with you. And I said, just to let you know, it's going to be a late night, right? And he said to me, how late? And that annoyed me. It annoyed me. And you might say that's a bit extreme, but the reason it annoyed me is because it was the biggest thing that we've done in 2 years. It's 2 nights before. Everyone knows. This brother right here, he doesn't want to be on camera, but he's editing. This brother right here is working, because everyone understands that, the night before is when everyone needs to exert their efforts and go the extra mile. So that question annoyed me. What do you mean, how late? Remember, I wear Whoop. Yeah, you can check the affiliate link below. So I like to go to sleep on time. But right now we are in survival mode, because we've got to do something. We've got to put the hours in. So that I don't like that half-heartedness. And because I don't have that nature, with Allah's permission, His tawfiq, whenever I'm thrown in the deep end, I don't just float with Allah's permission, I fly. Because I know that there's no other way. And fear is something that really motivates you. I'm going to tell you guys a story, maybe a couple, right, that really kind of drive the point home. I'll tell you one story that's authentic and one that's not necessarily authentic, but the meaning is correct. So the story that's authentic is the story of the great general of the Muslim army called Uqbat ibn Nafi'. Uqbat ibn Nafi'. So when he was conquering across North Africa, and he got to the coastline in Mauritania, which is, it's in North Africa, but he got to the west side, right, where the ocean is. When he got there and he conquered all this land, and he reaches the Atlantic Ocean, there's no more land. But he's out there to conquer for Allah's sake. He's conquering lands for Allah's sake. He's taking over lands for Allah's sake, right? So what does he do now that he comes to the sea and he can't walk and he can't go any further? You know what he done? He took his horse and he charged into the ocean. He charged into the ocean with his spear and he stuck it into the ocean like that. And when his horse couldn't go any further, he said, Ya Allah, لو أني أعلم أن وراء هذا البحر رجالا أو أرضا لخذته في سبيلك. He said, Ya Allah, if I knew that there was men and there was land past this ocean, I would have entered inside of it for your sake. That's what you call a man who is committed. You know, when you have that type of mindset, you're committed. And then after that, you become successful, inshallah ta'ala, because you're not willing to give up. You have resilience. The next example I give you is the example of Tariq ibn Ziyad. Was a young general of the Muslims, right? He was from the Moroccan area, or he came from that area, and he went to conquer Spain. And when he came to Gibraltar, which they say is Gibraltar named after Jabal Tariq, which means the mountain of Tariq, Jabal Tariq, Gibraltar, right? He spoke to his army and he said to them, listen, go burn all the boats, burn all the ships. We're going to go in and we're going to march and conquer our enemy. And we've burnt the boats because as a sign of either you go back and drown or we go and take over, right? Now this story, some questions authenticity, but the meaning is true. If you want to take over the island, bro, burn the boats, burn the bridges. Burn the bridges, bro. Let's go. We've got no other chance. We've got no other option except to march forward and to take over with Allah's permission. So that's the kind of mindset I have. Now I would say, look, if you leave your job and you have that mindset, great, but you don't have to leave your job. You can still have that mindset. If you still have that mindset of, bro, listen, I'm here to burn the boats, bro. I'm here to get it done. I'm here to get it done. You can still get it done. Brother Sufyan hasn't left his job. He hasn't. Point being is that I'm not saying leave your job completely and entirely and only in that situation you can have energy. That's my preferred state. I don't know what your circumstances are. You may need money that's needed next month, next week. I still in that circumstance would leave, by the way, me personally. Even if I had to pay bills and I had serious commitments and debts, I'll say, I'm leaving. And inshallah ta'ala this month I'm going to find something else. And that's what I've done. Because I never had a job my whole life, but I had to hustle. And times when I couldn't see money in front of me, bailiffs are outside, debts are piling up, crazy situations that I can't even explain to you, right? But Allah has always found a way, within weeks, within a month, alhamdulillah, within the month, every time, within the month. But that's my mindset. And I don't want someone to do that and they be like, oh, brother Imran, you know what, you told us to leave our job, we left our job, now we're struggling. That's it, this is for the warriors, the ones who are ready to go and dive into the ocean with their horse and stab the ocean and say, Ya Allah, we have to conquer for your sake. So that would be my advice to any brother who is stuck in the rat race and wants to set up his own business. By the way, the same advice applies to a person who wants to be a student of knowledge. And Allah gave us the tawfiq to be applying this to both, because I realize I have to seek knowledge and I can't give that up, and that's more important than my business. But at the same time, in order to support my lifestyle being a student of knowledge, I have to work on my business at the exact same time. So I had no choice. Shall I give you guys an example of how a day in my life used to go? And I'm only mentioning this so you can understand the work ethic here. Yeah? This is how it used to start. 4 a.m. in the morning. 4 in the morning, Abu Bakr, who was my business partner, used to pick me and my brother up and we used to drive to our sheikh's house. And we used to be outside his house in South London, right? At 4 a.m. in the morning. It was raining, it was cold, and sometimes he wouldn't answer. You know why? We'd be hitting the intercom, hoping he would let us in, because he would be so deep into his books that he would not hear the door ringing. Like he would lose himself in time when he's reading. But we were not allowed to leave. You know why? Because knowledge is sought after, it doesn't seek after you. Right, would wait at the door of the sheikh until he lets us in, and sometimes he wouldn't let us in, right? But more often he would let us in, and we'd go at 4:30 a.m. We'd sit there and we study with the sheikh. 6:30, 7 a.m. because it was winter time those times. Guess what would happen? Fajr would kick in. Fajr would kick in. The sheikh would want us to eat breakfast with him, so we'd have breakfast with him. Then we'd go to work. I'd go to the office. Our office would grind, work, hustle, right? And then what would I do after that? With Allah's permission, I would take a nap. I would sleep for maybe 2-3 hours in the office. Me, Abu Bakr, my brother, we would all sleep in the office on the floor behind our desks, right? Then after that, I would go home, carry on working. After that, what I have to do, rest a little bit more, handle some chores, carry on working. The sheikh was supposed to come at the house at 7 p.m. to do another lesson. So the first lesson we would do at his house, the second lesson he would do at our house. So what would do? We were up 4 a.m. in the morning, we're with him, till what, 8, get to work for 4 or 5 hours, sleep for 2-3 hours, do some more work, maybe sleep for another hour or two. 7 p.m. comes, the sheikh is going to arrive. But the sheikh doesn't always arrive at 7. He might have stuff to do. But he could arrive at 7. And if we're not ready at 7, we're in trouble. Do you understand? But guess what? The Shaykh could arrive at 11. And we'd have to wait. And we would wait. And what we'll do in the meantime, revise, prepare for the next lesson, revise, prepare for the next lesson, revise, prepare for the next lesson. And when the Shaykh would leave, you know what we'd do? We're going to go back to his house in 3-4 hours. Spend that part of the night revising, preparing, working on the notes for the second lesson. Repeat. For months. For months. For months. Do you understand? For months on end. Months. Do you understand? On end. And we spent the better part of actually years like that. But that level of intensity, months, like half a year at least. And that level of intensity, maybe just a little bit less than it for 6-7 years. So you need to get cracking, right? Now, alhamdulillah, I live in Dubai with the permission of Allah Azza wa Jalla. I study, I seek knowledge, I've got my mashayikh that I connect with every day. It's nice, calm, relaxed, reading Qayyim, 7 figures. But brothers, that comes on the back of hard work and reliance upon Allah Azza wa Jalla. We hope that we didn't fall short in the reliance of Allah. So, with that said, get it cracking. Find something in this video that you can do to take action. Hopefully, you can do something great with Allah's permission. But remember the foundation of all of this. If I missed this out at the beginning, let me make sure I don't deceive you right now. Any of these things that you want to do, set up business, study, seek knowledge, and all of these tactics and tips I've given you, the foundation is connecting your heart to Allah. Ya Allah, make it easy for me. And if you do that, the Prophet ﷺ said, لو أنكم توكلون على الله حق توكله لرزقكم كما يرزق الطير تغدو خماصا وتروح بطانا. If only you people relied upon Allah the way that He deserves to be relied upon, He would have provided for you just like He provides for the bird. Every morning the bird leaves its nest with an empty stomach and it always comes back full. With that said, if you guys want to learn how to scale your coaching businesses or your courses or your agencies or your communities to 7 figures, the same way we have with Allah's permission, we've got something called the Righteous and Rich School, which you can sign up to. Click on the link below. Inshallah ta'ala, this is a place where we've got all of the 7 steps, 7 figures, in detail: sales, marketing, offer optimization, funnel optimization, fulfillment, blah, blah, all of that stuff. I'm live, on the community. I'm active. My executive team is live. You can ask them questions. They respond. The community themselves are like-minded entrepreneurs just like yourself that are helping each other, that are supporting each other, that are solving each other's problems, that are giving each other advice, that are working with each other to help grow, to scale their businesses. And we've got 31 courses that we're going to be releasing, one every month. We've got, big CEOs from big digital marketing agencies that are going to be releasing courses to teach you about paid ads and blah, all of that stuff. Inshallah, there's so much there. Check it out. And I also, every single month, release one Islamic studies lesson so that we can help you become righteous and rich, inshallah ta'ala. Not that I'm claiming I'm evil, but we aspire to be. So click the link below if you're interested. Also, if you wanted to arrange a coaching session with myself, a one-on-one call for your business or something along those lines, click the link below and you can also find an opportunity, if you find any of the time slots available, to book a call with me. With that said, I've got to love you and leave you, man. Assalamu alaikum, peace.